It seems fitting to mark the launch of the Nintendo Switch by looking at a game that was intended as a preview of one of their earlier systems. Launching in 1996, the Nintendo 64 would be an astounding system, easily outperforming its competitors in raw power, if not in sales. It would help finish off the ailing Saturn, and come a respectable, if somewhat distant, second to Sony's runaway success in PlayStation. It would be home to some of the most revered and influential games of all time in Super Mario 64, GoldenEye, and the masterpiece that is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. But before all this, we need to go back a few years. As the Super NES entered the mid-phase of its life, it was clear that the battle for living rooms was heating up. Nintendo no longer enjoyed the almost unquestioned dominance that it once did, with Sega eating heavily into their market share, and newcomers like Sony's PlayStation on the horizon. So, in early 1993, Nintendo partnered with Silicon Graphics to develop their next machine. Project Reality was born, promising to bring cutting-edge graphics performance into the living room at affordable prices. The hardware itself was unveiled and the system publicly demoed and playable in November 1995, but it would be the middle of 1996 before it made it to shops in Japan, with the US following several months later, and Europe in 1997. In the meantime though, players had gotten a glimpse at the system through two arcade titles developed through a licensing agreement with Midway. This deal allowed Midway to release games on the Project Reality hardware, resulting in Cruis'n USA from Midway, and Rare developed fighter Killer Instinct. Released in 1994, Killer Instinct was entering into a market dominated by Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, the latter of which was a major influence. Combos and fatalities played a big part in the game, and the violence on display was a far cry from Nintendo's usual family-friendly stance. It charted its own course in several areas though. The standard best-of-3 round structure remains, with a significant tweak. Rather than each player's energy bar resetting after a round, the winner gets to keep their remaining energy, while the loser moves on to their second bar. It benefits the loser, in that any damage done to an opponent isn't lost and fights can be a fair bit tighter as a result. It does however open up the prospect of a humiliation, where the loser loses both their bars, with the other player still on their first. Killer Instinct's main developments were in combos though, allowing for huge chains of moves to be strung together. Using relatively simple combinations of stick movements and button presses, it's possible to keep opponents on the ropes and strip them of huge amounts of energy quickly. These combos are flashy and impressive, and can often go to over 64 hits. This is nicely countered with the addition of combo breakers though, moves designed specifically to interrupt and stop these punishing attacks. It's a nice touch, and ensures that there's numerous tactical options available to players at all times. The roster itself is interesting, a mix of normal human fighters as well as genetic experiments, aliens and cyborg assassins. There's yet more clear inspiration taken from Mortal Kombat here, especially with Cinder and Glacius, who take more than a little from Sub-Zero and Scorpion. My personal favourite however was always Fullgore, the Ultratech cyborg whose finishing move involved turning his head into a massive machine gun and unloading it onto his opponents. There's a good variety in the opponents, and they're all colourful, memorable characters. Perhaps the most interesting thing about Killer Instinct is how it looks. Even 23 years later, Killer Instinct is still a good looking game. The characters are big and detailed, created using the same technique that was used for Donkey Kong Country, where high resolution 3D models were scanned and converted into 2D sprites. The backgrounds similarly are highly detailed and maintain a fantastic illusion of being 3D rendered. In actual fact, the backgrounds consisted of video files, which would change depending on the player's position. Move to the right, and the video would move forward to the frames that show the backgrounds from that position. Move to the left, it would go to a different set of frames. These videos were of such high quality that the game itself actually needed a built-in hard drive to store them all, making it the first ever arcade title to have one. Despite being designed to push what was originally called Nintendo's Ultra 64, Killer Instinct would eventually see its home debut in the SNES first instead. though it would eventually make it to what became the N64 in the form of Killer Instinct Gold and Killer Instinct 2. The games were a huge success both in arcades and in the home, although the series did end up going dormant for a while. It would be many years before it would return again, though when it did it was used once more to push a new console. Eventually revived by Microsoft in 2013 as an Xbox One launch title, it's been a phenomenal success for them, becoming a serious contender in the fighting game scene once again. It's a fantastic fighter, and the series continues to go from strength to strength, and will hopefully be around for many years to come.
Coming up next time on Arcade Attacks.